So we're here to solve this XV Sudoku by Murat Can Tonta called pairs. It has no X's or V's in the grid, so it's effectively an anti-XV Sudoku, and we had some other anti-puzzles through this week, but this looks to be a pretty tough one if it's called the Sunday Stumper. I'm seeing some digits that are going to sort of point at each other. This 4 wants to avoid the 6 over in this box, so it's got these two cells for a 4. If I'm looking then at a digit like 1 that doesn't want to be near a 4, it can't take this cell, so I need to get a 1 in one of these. That gets me a 1 in one of these. The 6 comes across and does a similar thing on this side, but the paired digit with the 6 is already in the grid, so there's not much more to do with that. We've got a 3 in one of these cells. That's not very valuable. Have like a 9 around here. That's not so good. I think maybe this middle row, which has 4 givens, is a good place to look. Of the ones that are there, 9 has just 2 spots. 9 can be in this cell or this cell. It has to dodge the 1. 6 can be in this cell or this cell. The 1 looks very good, though, as a digit 2, so none of these cells can be a 2. 2 has to be over here. That puts an 8 and an 8 sort of sweep up here. It also puts a 2 here. 3 now has to be over here, dodging that cell, but that's not giving me much more. I still had 2 cells for the 6 and 2 cells for this 9, so I still have enough flexibility. There's no other constraint there, but I'm now seeing something interesting. If I look at the digit 2, 2 also it has a lot of constraints around it, and that's working with this digit 7 that also has these constraints around it. So it looks like we've got effectively a triple of 1, 2, 7 here, which means the 4 can't go in this cell. It has to come down. And in doing that, a 4 is over here in these cells, but notice that the center cell can't be a 1 or 4. This is a case where we get 2 digits that would otherwise form an X or V pair, and they've got to dodge. So that 1, 4 looks good. This 4 eliminates this 1, means the 1 has to be here. Puts a 1 in these cells. This space now can't have a 9 near this 1, so 9 is up top. That 9 is coming across and is not any of these cells, so 9 is here, 6 is up above, 9 is in the center, 5 and 8. The 8 can't be next to a 2, so 7 and 2. That gives me 7, 7, 7 coming down here, but here again, and one reason we write these triples in is we get a cell like this. This can't be the 3 or the 7, because then it would touch the other partner and form a sum of 10, so this has to have a split. I'm seeing then that we've got an 8 sort of cancels out of these cells, so 8's over here. The digit 2 can't be in these cells, and a 2 can't be between here because it would touch the 3, so 2 has to be here. That puts a 2 in these cells, but again, here's a cell that can't be a 2 or an 8 because then it would touch the other value and form a 10. We've got 9 and 4 to finish this column, and the 9 has to be up top and the 4 down here. We have 4, 5, 6 to finish this column, and the one thing we can't do is put the 5 down here because that would put 4, 6 together, so this has to be a 6. This will be 4 and 5. There's a 4 to the right, so this is 4 up top, 5 here. 6 in this cell for a 1, 6 pair, and this is a 5, 8 pair down below. We've got a 4 in one of these 3 cells, but what I'm seeing is this is actually an interesting cell. It's effectively what would complete a 5 or a 10 sum if a 4 is over there, so 4's got to be in these cells. And that now is going to be pretty limiting for the 1. So if I'm looking at this one coming from the right, it's not seeing these cells directly. It can't be in either of these two because then it would be right next to the 4 wherever it goes. And if you look below where we've got this 1, 4 pair and this 1, 4 pair, if it's as a 1 is here, it puts a 4 below, and a 1 here puts a 4 below. So there are only 2 cells left for a 1. And I'm thinking that's going to set up another kind of key constraint in this grid. And I'm thinking that because if this is actually a 1, this is then going to force the 4 to the right, forces a 4, 1 here, which means we're going to have a 4, 1 in these cells and nothing in the middle for this to work. So let's sort of see if we can figure out why moving 4 and 1 together here is going to be bad. And sometimes the way this goes is by looking at the other partners of those digits. So 6 or 9 look to be important. So let's look at 6 and 9. In the center space, I don't have any 6s, but I do have a fair number of 9s. So like in this box, I can't get 9s in the cells. I can't get 9s here, so one of these two is a 9. This are a 9. So actually what that means is that this cell can't be a 1, and so I think that actually completes, if I'm coming back to the visualization I had, if this is 1, 4, 1, 4, by putting a 1 right here, again, the other option is a 1 right here. If 1 is in the cell, that means that 1 and 4 are all collectively here, but a 1's not up top, a 1 isn't between these 9, so a 1 would have to sit in this cell, right, in the 8th row. But then the 4, which goes up above or below, would touch it and form a 7 pair, so this can't be a 1. This is a 1. I think this is the key step for the Sunday Stumper. Hopefully it's the key step. I don't know what will come next, but we'll work from this for a bit. With this as these placements of a 1, that now means the 9 can't be here, can't be here, 9s can't be there, so this is the last space for a 9 in this top box. That moves this 4 over. This 9 and this 9 come over here, push a 9 down in those cells. That 9 puts the 9 right here, and we get a 9 here. The 1 and the 1, and avoiding the 9, put a 1 in one of these cells, which means 1 is to the left, 4 is to the right, 4 is right here, 4 is right here, pushes up this 1, pushes down this 1. That means an 8 is in one of these two cells, and 8 then is in this column in this sort of space. Where is the 2? So 2s are already in the first and third rows, so 2 is somewhere here, but a 2 can't sit near that 8. So 2 is in one of these cells. If I'm looking down in this space, a 2 is in one of these cells, because it's avoiding the 8 and avoiding the cell. It already sees a 2, and down bottom, a 2 is in one of these cells. So I got a 2 and 2, which means the 2 is on the left here. This is also a really bad place to place the 8. If the 8 is here, the 2 moves right to the right. So while the 2 can be up top, the 8 is down below. That puts an 8 and an 8 and a 5. Do you have anything more that quickly follows from that? We're just sort of scanning around the grid. We've got a 6 in one of these cells. This is a 3, 5. The digit 3 may now be somewhat constrained. But I'm just looking around at the 2s and seeing if I can make any sense of it. I'm not seeing that limit right now if it is a real limit, but there are some other digits we haven't fully considered. The 6 can go here, but it can't be near the 4, so 6 has to be in one of these cells, which means the 6 is over in one of these cells. Down in the bottom, a 6 can't be in these cells near the 4 or the cell, so 6 is over here and over here, but that means now we do have to put a 6 right in that space. That actually moves 8s to the first and third row, so this isn't an 8, the 8 is down below. That means a 7 is in one of these cells. And let's think about, is there something around like the digit 3 when we're doing this? We have 2, 8, 3, 7 left in this row. And this isn't a 2, and this isn't an 8, so this is a 3 or a 7. And if that's a 3 or 7, it's going to cause a conflict with the cell with this option of where a 7 goes, because a 7 here puts a 3 here, that forms a 10. So 7 isn't possible in this cell, so it is possible here. Putting that in will force a 7 to this cell. From Sudoku rules, it'll put a 7 in this column here, but it means down here the cell is only a 3 and a 7 and a 3. That means there's a 3 over on the right side here, but it's not near that 2. We still have 5, 7, 6 to go. The 7 is going to have to be up top because of the 7 here. That's going to eliminate the 7 put in the 7. 6 isn't near the 4, so 6 is here, 6 is here. We need 2 and 5 to finish this out. The 5 has to go up top, puts in the 6, puts in the 6. We have 2, 3, 5. Actually, this 8 we probably could have placed a while ago, but got it now. We have 5 and 3. Puts in this 3. We still have 5 and 7 here, so one of these 7s is going to be near a 3. That's this one, so 5, 7, 5, 7. Last 5 up top. 5 and 2. This is now 3, 8. And this is 2, 3, so one of these is going to be near a conflicting digit here to 7. Can't be near a 3, so that's 2, 3, 3, 8, 8, 2. So we worked our way through this grid. Pretty hard set of anti-constraints. Looking through sometimes the most full rows or columns in a non-consecutive gets you started. That gave us some of this too. It helped us then prime what looked to be a pretty hard early step, but finding this triple of a 1, 2, 7 that gave us a 4. Later in the grid, we really got some cases where we had like this 1, 4, this 3, 7, this 2, 8, some pairs that had dodged themselves, and doing that, we eventually got that there was a 4 up top, which gave us a 1 pattern like this. And I think that key observation of making these all be 1, 4s would really cause an issue down here, is how we got some progress at the top that might not have been the typical sort of place for progress, but where the anti-constraints are pretty powerful. And then it was working through the rest of the grid, kind of grind by grind, just finding the ditches were most constrained. So sort of interesting flow for the puzzle. It was probably very easy in some places, but then very, very, very hard for sets of stretches until you hit one of those two aha moments and then got easy again. So I hope you got something through this video, if it at least got you through some of those sticking points. We'll see you again soon.